Hi, this is Paul from Global Voice Network, and welcome to another exciting episode of Discoveries in Health Discussions with Dr. Truman Burst. This week, we don't know what we're talking about because it's through audience participation that people ask questions, and whatever it happens to be, that's what Truman talks about. So, I do believe that we are ready to bring Truman on to the program. Hi, Doc Truman. How are you?
I am blessed. I know you are blessed. I know everybody in the room is blessed over there at Dialpad Meetings Room and over here in Jitsi and all the other channels. We are blessed and we are praising the Most High. That's what we're doing.
Excellent, excellent. Let me just check one thing real quick. One thing real. Oh, I'm going to double check and make sure that my shared screen, your audio is shared. Gonna make sure any hiccups that way either. Okay. All right. So we're uh, we're back into it. In case people couldn't hear you, Truman, um, I'm gonna hand it over to you. Just go ahead and get started.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Paul. And hello, everybody. My name is Bishop Dr. Truman Burst. And I have been doing this now since 1961. I've been helping people with natural remedies and doing research and publishing it and getting the word out and making sure that people uh, had the knowledge that has been kept from them uh, by people who have other agendas that they don't want you to know about natural remedies. They want to vilify it. They want to say that anybody who's helping you with natural remedies is prescribing and diagnosing. Well, you can't prescribe and diagnose with natural remedies because they're food. The only thing you can prescribe and diagnose is drugs. And we don't talk about drugs here except to tell you not to use them unless you have to, and then for a short period of time, because your body doesn't run on drugs. It runs on food. It runs on prayer. Those are the kinds of things that it runs on. So that's what we talk about here. And we're not prescribing, we're not diagnosing, we're not selling products. We're answering questions from the folks in the audience here when they want to know about certain things. Well, maybe they don't. They're not asking about what drug to use. They're asking about what food to use. So please understand, we're not prescribing, we're not diagnosing, we're not promising cures. We're talking about the Most High God. Now, the Most High God can promise cures, and he can't even be arrested either for doing that. Uh, so, so what we're talking about here is natural remedies, and we just want to make it clear that we're just talking about comforting people with food and old fashioned remedies that grandma knew about, grandpa knew about them. That's what they used. So that's what we're talking about here. We are not talking about drugs. We're not prescribing. We're not diagnosing. We're simply teaching a class here about natural remedies. And we invite your participation right after the opening prayer here. We're going to read some scripture from the Bible. And then we're going to invite people to open their microphones and ask their questions. We already have one topic that has been suggested, and that is to talk about tinnitus. ringing of the ears, and so we're going to talk about that. That's one of the things we're going to talk about today is comforting people with food, natural remedies, and the natural remedies historically and traditionally and scientifically uh, shown to be helpful. That's what we're doing here. So, uh, that being said, my telephone number is 503 362 5899. That's 503 362 5899. My email address, and anything that you want me to email you, if you want to have a copy of this natural tinnitus treatments with natural remedies, I'll send you a complete report on anything that you want. Just call me, email me. My email address is Truman. That's TRUMAN at herbalhealthreview.com. And herbalhealthreview.com is the website where all my work is published. So if you wanted to find out about some particular natural remedy, you can go on the website, herbalhealthreview.com. If you don't find the report or the information that you need, then you text me. It's better to text me. I can't answer every telephone call. Otherwise, I'd be on the telephone all day long and you'd never see me. I'd just be on the telephone because my phone rings off the hook and I do the best I can to answer all calls and all emails and help thousands and thousands of people. So I'm doing my best, and it's kind of like the guy that spins the plates on the poles. He's got all these plates and he's got them all on, and he's going around and he's spinning this plate and then he's spinning that plate, and all the poles and all the plates stay on the poles and they're going around and they're not falling off. Well, that's difficult to do. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do here with trying to help people. And especially when it's always under attack by people who want to stop any information about natural remedies. They're just into drugs and they don't want anybody else to have any other options besides drugs. Well, that's just me. I think you should have all the options that you want to have for healing yourself, for leading a good life. Yes, you should have options to do those things, and not be prevented just because somebody else thinks you shouldn't have that option. And there's a lot of that going on, and that's wrong. But anyway, that's who I am. That's my telephone number. That's my email address. And if you want any kind of research report or anything, text me, email me, and you can try to call me, and I will try to call you back. But it's really difficult to call as many people as that are calling me. So let's do this right. And to do this right, we always start with the Bible, and we're going to talk about Matthew 24, and in Matthew 24, 15, the coming of the Son of Man. Matthew 24, verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whosoever readeth, let him understand. 16. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall it be. Nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then, if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it or not, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it or not. 27. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be the eagles. I'll say it again. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from the heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When this branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. In Jesus Christ's name, our Savior, all praises to the Most High. So be it. And let's open up the microphones. If there's anyone over there in the dial pad meetings room that has a question, a topic, or a suggestion, or if there's anyone over here in the Jitsi room that has a question, a topic, or a suggestion, please unmute your microphone and let us know what it is that you would like to talk about. We already have. Yeah, hello. Go ahead. Yes, do you hear me?
Oh, I can now. Are you speaking to me? 917? Yes?
Okay. How can we be helpful? What would you like to talk about today?
I'd like to talk about nerve health. What can be taken to maintain good nerve health? If you're feeling that there's something with the nerves in the body, what would you recommend?
Well, nerve health. Okay, we're going to talk about a healthy nervous system. What can we do to maintain a healthy nervous system? All right, that's one topic, and tinnitus is another topic. And I'm looking over here, and let's see. Uh, that was you, Bernadette. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm going to mute your microphone, and we're looking around in the room to see if there is anyone else who has a topic or a suggestion or something that they'd like to learn about. And I'm looking over into this room, and I see Mary's microphone is open. Yes. What would you like to talk about, Mary?
Yes, but I wanted to
Yeah.
just know about like I have joint pain sometime, arthritis, sometimes things like that, and I'm trying to eat the right foods. However, the doctor said I had celiac disease, kind of like I know I'm allergic to gluten, so I'm just trying to change my diet so I could feel better.
Oh, okay. Well, of course, and that's a good idea. And we're not
Hmm.
prescribing for arthritis. We're not prescribing for celiac disease. We're
Hmm.
talking about. We will simply talk about these things and the natural remedies that may comfort people. So that's one of the topics that we're going to talk about. Okay,
Okay.
and
Yes.
thank you very much, Mary. And is there anyone else here that has
Hmm.
I'm looking over there open. Did you have a topic suggestion or something we should talk about?
So I don't have a topic, Dr. Truman, and I do appreciate all of the help and phone calls that we receive regarding my mom with her cancer. I do have two questions. I have one. Is there a telephone number to contact Health Herb regarding your
Sure.
order?
Yes, and what you need to know is that Health Herbs has gone through a great deal. They almost succumbed over and over again. I don't know what it would be like to die over and over and over again, but I think Health and Herbs knows exactly how that feels because they just keep going. Just about going out of business, and then they bounce on back, and they're able to keep on going. But uh, finally, uh, they have been funded. They now have enough money to buy and stock inventory, which they couldn't do because they took such a beating. But the good news is now you can reach them. And they're going to do much better. They're adding more staff. They've added more staff already, and that means that Brittany, who was all alone doing every single job all by herself for months and months and months, has come to an end. She can now answer her phone and help you. And that telephone number is 503. Oh, wait, is that right? 503. Oh, boy. I got to look just to be sure at this point. I haven't given out that number for a while. Let's get over here. Is this it? I'm on my way. I got to make sure to give the right phone number because I haven't given it out for a long time. Here we go.
Is it 541
Yeah, 541
791?
8400. That's
Yeah.
it. 541 791 8400. So
Okay.
now you will be able to call them. But again, they're just like I am. They get so many calls that it's just one call after another call after another call, and you can never get anything done when that happens to you. And that happens a lot. To poor Brittany, trying to be the only person who knows who has all the answers, but they are increasing their staff. They've they have they are growing. Things are much better already. And as you see in the next weeks, they're going to be fully staffed with someone answering the phone with every call. But at this time, it's still Brittany trying to do everything else, get back in the saddle and help her to get these products manufactured and labeled and bottled and all that stuff. She can do all that herself. So that's what happened. And they never had enough. They never had enough money to operate, and they were just taking a beating one after another. But that's over. That's over now. They're doing great. And it's 541 791 8400. Okay.
Yes. And then my last question is, so we received one product, which was the combination of 4486, which had a combination of 4837, and I forgot the other number. So it's the CACT and the Truman fiber.
That's it. It only had two products in that. Number 4486 is a kit that has two products in it. The one product is number 1078, which is a colon and liver cleansing liquid, which will clean up the bloodstream, clean up the digestive tract, clean up the liver, and then gently act as a laxative, and then wash all of that out of the system. So it's a herbal formula that is a cleansing herbal formula. Then the other product in that number 4486 kit, which is, let's look at it.
I believe it's the Truman fiber with the clay.
Yes, it is. That it's fiber number 4837.
Okay, so I have a question. So on here, the direction on here, it talks about the CAC, but it's talking as the CAC is a tea that needs to be boiled. And
no, number 4110 is in a different kit. That 4110 is a CACT, which is very much like the 1078, which cleans out the digestive tract and the blood and so forth. However, the number 4110 CACT gets rid of constipation. And with the tea, you're going to make up about a gallon of it and keep it in the fridge. And you're going to take enough of that tea every morning, number 4110. You'll take that every morning, whether it's 1 cup or half a cup, whatever it takes to keep every bowel movement so soft that it's breaking up in a cloud when you flush the toilet. Then that other product that's in there, because you can get a kit with the formula for constipation, or just for which is number 4110, which is a tea, or you can get the 1078, which is a liquid. There's two different kits. One kit has the 1078, and the other one has the 4110 to clean out the colon. And the 1078 again is for everybody who isn't constipated. But anybody who is constipated and cannot go to the bathroom, the 4110 will correct it. And over a period of time, you'll use less and less of the number 4110T until you don't need any at all, because it corrects constipation and has the peristaltic colon, the peristaltic muscle in there. It makes it go back to work again. And once it goes back to work, then you don't need as much tea. And then pretty soon you don't need any tea at all. And everything is working just fine. But that's what's in two different kits. One of them is called 4486, and I'm not sure what the other one is. Uh, but I
Okay,
can
so
give you
this,
that number if you need it. Go ahead.
yeah, so I think this just had the wrong sticker, so we were a little confused with that. It had instruction for the 4110, where we didn't receive that in this kit. So that's where the confusion came in. So when it comes to the Truman fiber clay, with that, we just put 1 teaspoon in your drink, correct?
Actually, the best way to use that number 4837, Truman's Fiber Special with bentonite clay, the best way to use that is 2 hours before dinner on an empty stomach. That's the best time to take that, and you're going to use some water or some tea. And if there's cancer, you're not going to use juice because you want to avoid sugar. So you're going to use water or tea, and you're going to then put as much of the fiber to thicken up the bowel movement. Because remember that 1078 liquid, you're taking a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons in the morning to make sure that every bowel movement is very soft, and you're washing out all the bad things that you want to get rid of, and doing a house cleaning. And that's what the 1078. But the 4837 is there to thicken up the bowel movement and to absorb and adsorb everything that's in the colon and the digestive tract that you don't want. It's in there. It's there to absorb heavy metals and toxins, and it does a wonderful job because it's got the psyllium seed husk powder in that 4837. And by the way, I don't sell products. I don't get anything for the sale of any product, but I can tell you how it works because I invented it. So the 4837 fiber powder, it has the psyllium seed husk powder in there that turns to a gel. So immediately when you put that teaspoon or 2 teaspoons or 3 teaspoons, 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon, whatever amount you put into that water or tea, then you stir it up and you drink it down before it gels, because it's going to turn into a gel, and you want to drink it before it gels. So you stir that up and you get the amount that you think you need, whether it's 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, or more, because what you're looking for is for that to thicken up the bowel movement, because the 1078 is going to thin out the bowel movement, and it's going to cause your bowel movement to be more liquid. So now we've got the 4837 to balance things out. It's going to thicken up the bowel movement so that it's absorbing everything you're trying to get rid of. It's going into that psyllium seed husk. There's also some super green foods in there that's going to give you all the chlorophyll to deodorize the digestive tract, and to all the super nutrients all in the super green foods. That's going to give you a lot of nutrition and vitamins and minerals. So then there's one other ingredient in that number 4837 special fiber. And that last ingredient is the bentonite clay. And the calcium bentonite clay is going to swell up and absorb all the toxins and heavy metals and anything that's in your digestive tract. Matter of fact, this is such a great detoxifier that it's even going to take the moisture in your digestive tract. You're going to need to drink another glass of water right away after you've been maybe 5 to 10 minutes of drinking the fiber powder that turns into a gel. You stir it up and drink it down before it turns into a gel, because it's no fun to drink when it's a gel. So now you're drinking down this fiber powder. It turns into a gel. It's sliding through the digestive tract, absorbing all the toxins, heavy metals, and anything. And even the moisture is going into this gel. and it's sliding through the body, and it's cleaning up the bloodstream and the digestive tract, and it's getting to the liver, and it's cleaning up the liver, and then it gets to the bowel and cleans up everything in the bowel, and out it goes. And you're doing that 2 hours before dinner on an empty stomach.
Okay.
Because if you take that fiber powder and you put it in a smoothie and then you take your vitamins, all your vitamins are going to go right into that gel. You're not going to get anything. You understand?
Yes. So I'm clear on the fiber. So also on the 1078, the instruction on the bottle says to take that at before dinner as well. So are you taking these two? Um, I know you're not mixing them together, but I mean, are you taking them around the same time?
Not necessarily. It's your preference. You can take it on an empty stomach before dinner. You can take it first thing in the morning. You can have breakfast and then take it. So a lot of people like to take it earlier in the day. That way they have all day to make sure they're cleaning out. Because if you take it late at night, then you're going to be wanting to clean out at night, and that's no fair. You're supposed to sleep, so it'd be a better idea to take it earlier in the day, then clean out all during the day, and then 2 hours before bed, make sure you're not drinking a lots of water, because if you're drinking a lot of water the 2 hours before bed, then you're going to be up all night going to the bathroom. So you try to get all of your water, all of your cleansing, detoxifying, and so forth done before you go into bed. Then when you go into bed, you're all ready to rest, relax, and get some sleep. And you might even want to take some magnesium at that point, because 90% of everyone is deficient in magnesium, and magnesium relaxes every muscle in your body. Then you can get a relaxing sleep. And it helps get rid of cramping, so there'd be no cramping, waking up with cramps. I don't know if you ever woke up with cramps, but that is a terrible thing to do. It's just it wakes you right up out of your sleep, and then you got a lot of pain and so forth. But magnesium, make sure you're getting enough magnesium. It will also make sure magnesium will soften the bowel movements. The more magnesium that you take, the softer the bowel movements. So there never, ever should be any constipation when you know about that 4110 constipation herbal tea. When you know about magnesium, there should be no such thing as constipation. Is there any other question?
Yes, it did. And thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, and over here in the dial pad meetings room, over there in Pittsburgh area.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Just to piggyback off of the previous caller, because I actually have the other kit that you were talking about. So in this kit, it has the super enzyme with the tablets. So when do you take that? Because I didn't get any instructions in my kit, unfortunately.
Okay, super enzymes. You want to take those with each meal if you have any digestive problems at all, because those enzymes will help you to break down and digest your food. And then if you find out that you're eating fruit and you really don't need to take an enzyme with the fruit because it's got lots of enzymes, then you can eat your fruit and not take enzymes. But anytime you're especially eating any prepared or food that needs some digestive work by your stomach, well, then you want to make sure, and that's when you take, so you're going to take those super enzymes, one with each meal. And just know that also those super enzymes will help you lose weight. So if you don't want to lose weight, you probably don't want to take the super enzymes, because it's going to break things down and you're going to digest things. That's why you take one with each meal, so that you make sure that you're digesting and getting it. And especially with a cooked meal and so forth. But with fruit and that, you really don't need it to take enzymes with fruit. Okay.
Okay, and let me just confirm what you just laid out. So for the CAC, you can take that in the morning on an empty stomach. You can take the clay fiber 2 hours before dinner with water or tea. right? And then drink some more water or tea after, like 10 minutes after.
Yes.
And you take the magnesium in the evening. And I do have the kit that comes with the tea, but the tea didn't come in the kit. So I guess I should reach back out to the
Health and Herbs.
the company.
Let them know.
Okay.
And
All right. And then the last. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yes, you're going to reach out to them. Let them know anytime that something's missing or didn't make it. A lot of times they things are back ordered. They're ordering things from the supplier, and the supplier is not shipping. We do have a broken system, as we all know, and it reminds us every day how broken our system really is.
Right. Okay, that's no problem. And the last question is, how many days should we do it? 3 days, 5 days, or 7 days to do the kit?
We're talking about the 4486 kit.
Well, I have the 4422.
44.
But like, how many days a week?
Okay, let's take a look at the 4422. 4422, you say?
Yes.
4422. Let's take a look at that. And okay, that's the Cleanse and Detoxify Kit Plus. And we're going to take a look at that kit. Okay. And just to remind folks, we're never talking about your health condition because the authorities and the people and the watchers who watch us and worry about everything, they don't want people to be asking about their health disorders, because then they want to construe that we're diagnosing and prescribing. Well, people. So never talk about yourself. Always talk about an invisible person, so that we're not offending. So that we can give you the correct information, but we can never tell you what to do about your health problems, because we're supposed to go to jail. They're supposed to beat us up and rob us of all our money if we do those kinds of things. So we want to obey, what they, even Jesus Christ obeyed, the rules, and we need to as well. So we're trying to do that, even though sometimes they act like we're not trying at all. But anyway, so okay. Is there any other question about 44? We're looking at this Cleanse and Detoxify Plus, and we're looking at what's in it, and the ingredients are 2 of the 1078s, 8-ounce bottles, and that's going to last you about 2 weeks or more. And then there's the super enzymes in there, and then there's the 4837 fiber, and then there's the 4160 tea, and that tea is made with pau de arco bark, and we don't use it for cancer in America. We don't use it for cleaning the bloodstream in America. We use it because it's a wonderful, good tasting tea. But in South America and throughout South America, Argentina, Brazil, etc., that's what they use it for. But we don't do that in America because we're not supposed to. So we don't do that, but that's what that tea is used for. But we use it as a wonderful, good tasting tea that is good for your bloodstream, and that's it. It's good for your bloodstream. That's all we can say about it. But yes, is there any other question?
That's it. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.
Thank you very much for asking those questions. We're glad to make sure and get this information out. And we're over here, and we're going to mute the mic so that it's not open. I'm on my way. Boom. Okay, it's muted. And I'm over here, and I'm looking to see if any mics are open. And so now we're going to talk about a topic that was asked about, and that topic is tinnitus. We're going to talk about tinnitus because we promised that we would. So, and here's a good report. And the reason I picked these particular reports is because they talk about the allopathic medical treatments as well as the naturopathic natural treatments. They talk about both, and that's the reason that I pick particular authors where I'm getting credible information that I can trust, and so that's why I'm using particular reports. I don't just grab any report. I grab reports that I know are credible. And the report on natural tinnitus treatment I have before me here. And by the way, if you want a copy of any of these reports, email me, Truman@herbalhealthreview.com. My telephone number, 503-362-5899. So talking about natural tinnitus treatment. Most cases of tinnitus are unfortunately thought to be difficult to treat. And sometimes severe tinnitus cannot be treated at all. When permanent and irreversible damage to the ears or nerves has occurred, well, that it becomes irreversible. That being said, many patients find natural tinnitus treatment methods and coping strategies to be very helpful in allowing them to adjust to the changes that tinnitus brings. Now, here's about 6 of these natural tinnitus treatment options. Let's get into this a little bit deeper, by the way. If you ever get ringing in your ears, worse yet, does it happen often? There's a chance you have tinnitus, but all hope is not lost, as there are natural tinnitus treatment options out there. A 2014 report published in the journal Frontiers in Neurology, it states tinnitus is one of the most common somatic symptoms to affect humanity. And in Latin, tinnitus, the word tenere in Latin means to ring. What is tinnitus exactly? It might be the cause for strange sounds or sensations you're experiencing in your ears. Most experts refer to tinnitus as the condition that causes ringing in the ears. However, other abnormal sounds and sensations can also be attributed to tinnitus. The definition of tinnitus is the perception of noise or ringing in the ears. Some also describe this condition as hearing sounds in the ears when no external sound is present. Although tinnitus is only a significant problem for about 1% to 5% of the population, up to 10 to 15% of all children and adults are believed to experience ringing in the ears, at least from time to time. According to the American Tinnitus Association, this complex audiological and neurological condition is experienced by nearly 50 million Americans, older adults, men, people who smoke or use drugs, and those with a history of ear infections or cardiovascular disease have the highest risk for developing tinnitus. Most experts believe that it's not a disorder of itself, but rather one symptom of another underlying disorder that affects auditory sensations and nerves near the ears. However, there are tinnitus treatment options out there to treat these symptoms. For many, tinnitus symptoms come on gradually and eventually go away as the brain and ears adjust. However, for others, tinnitus can last for years and cause various complications. A high percentage of people with tinnitus that's persistent and untreatable go on to also develop anxiety or depression. So we would be wanting to look at the anxiety and depression research that I have also created. But as a result, uh, uh, and then there are people that are developing anxiety and depression. So we have to make sure that we don't overlook that. It's not just the ears; it's affecting anxiety and depression in people. So we have to make sure and address that. What types of things can you do to deal with lowering tinnitus symptoms? Tinnitus treatment includes avoiding excessively loud sources of noise pollution, using certain hearing aids, preventing ear infections, and avoiding drug use. So let's talk about natural tinnitus treatment. Most cases of tinnitus are unfortunately thought to be difficult to treat, and sometimes severe tinnitus cannot be treated at all. And permanent, when permanent and irreversible damage to the ears and nerves have occurred. And so, that being said, many patients find natural tinnitus treatment methods and coping strategies to be very helpful in allowing them to adjust to the changes and that tinnitus brings. So let's talk about some of the treatment options. Number one, counseling, coping strategies, and education. Experts recommend that patients with severe tinnitus become educated about tinnitus and how they best deal with its symptoms. This can include learning about biofeedback in order to control stress and your reaction to tinnitus sounds, talking with a counselor, or joining a support group. Coping strategies are most useful for managing emotional side effects of tinnitus, such as anxiety, trouble sleeping. There's also things and natural remedies that can help people to get a good night's rest. And a lack of focus, and there are things that can help people to focus. There are lots of remedies to help people focus, and there are a lot of remedies that help people with depression. Now, some patients choose to get involved in tinnitus retraining, which involves wearing a device in the ears that provides soothing music or noise, along with undergoing counseling. And the goal is to help your body and brain learn to get accustomed to the tinnitus noise, which reduces your negative reactions to unwanted sounds. And so now, support and counseling during the process can be helpful for reducing anxiety. Researchers are now learning more about the benefits of coherent cognitive behavioral therapy, interventions to help treat distress associated with tinnitus. There are masking devices. The masking devices and hearing aids can serve as sound therapies and be used to dull the intensity of unwanted sounds or to increase volume of soft environmental sounds, which drown out the nagging tinnitus noise. Some people choose to use a white noise machine. White noise machine that apps on their phones. They might choose apps on their phones or videos on their computers to help them sleep or relax or concentrate. There are also now electronic devices available that can help suppress unwanted noise and help with tinnitus treatment. Devices disturbing sounds and machines or sleep machines. Similar to earplugs and hearing aids. Certain hearing aids, which your doctor can recommend and custom fit to your ears. There are free apps on your phone that play soothing sounds such as falling rain, forests, or ocean waves. These can also work as natural sleep aids to improve sleep when you're feeling anxious. And then there's using natural sources of light, such as fires and air conditioners. And you want to avoid very loud noises. It has been found that exposure to very loud noises can contribute to early hearing loss and ear problems. Loud sounds can include those from heavy machinery or construction equipment, such as sledgehammers, chainsaws, and firearms. Even gunshots and car accidents or very or very loud concerts, and all some cases. Sounds of less than 75 decibels, even after long exposure, are unlikely to cause hearing problems. 85 decibels can cause hearing loss and ear problems. To give you an idea of how loud this is, a refrigerator is about 45 decibels, while a decibels. Technology and portable music devices have also contribute to noise pollution, especially volume of your phone or MP3 players or iPod on lower end when inserting the headphones. And don't play very loud noises for long durations of time. To aid in tinnitus treatment, we need to look out for changes. You're frequently exposed to loud noises. Limit use of headphones or consider wearing earplugs.
Truman?
So, yes,
Truman, do
go
you
ahead.
iPad meetings?
Actually, I did, but it isn't on at the moment. But I can turn it on.
No, what
Now
I'm
it's
trying
going
to
to
do
be
is I'm trying to conserve bandwidth because your audio is chopping up a little bit.
on.
I think
Oh
sharing
well,
and running the camera is causing a problem. Maybe you can try turning off camera in Jitsi.
it was off. It
Turn it
was off on my laptop. Oh, in Gypsy, turn off my camera
in
too.
Jitsi
Oh,
also.
okay. Oh,
That's
okay. Let's
it,
see.
and it's just on the menu on Jitsi. Uh, just go down. Just click on the down on
Yeah,
menu down in the lower part of the screen.
there it is.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Maybe
I
that'll help
turned
out.
off my camera.
Maybe that'll help out because
Okay.
some of the words were dropped. So, all right.
Oh, we can't do that. Okay.
No, we can't have that.
All right. Okay. So, all right. So we're wrapping it up here with tinnitus and some of the symptoms and classifications of tinnitus. Uh, Hearing phantom sounds when no sound is actually coming uh, from any outside source. That's called phantom sounds. If you're hearing sounds, sounds can include ringing, clicking, sizzling, buzzing, hissing, humming, and roaring. Can be any. If it's those are all sounds. Sounds change in terms of which ear they come from, their intensity, pitch, onset, volume, and type in terms of which ear they come from. Sounds can stop and go, sometimes be soft or low, or other times become louder and faster. Tinnitus sounds might only come from one ear at a time, uh, unilateral, or both ears, which is bilateral. Uh, Tinnitus, you may feel very disturbed from their symptoms and facing uh, psychological and mood related problems as a side effect, and interference with your ability to hear actual sounds. We're talking about symptoms. We're talking about symptoms and classifications, and brain fog, confusion, trouble focusing, and if there's problems with speech, especially in children. But and you do not want to use Q-tips in your ear because they can damage your ear. Your ears are very, very sensitive, and it's very easy to damage the ear. Many people try to clean out their natural earwax from their ears with. Yes, you can rinse the ears. That's one way to rinse them out. But you don't want to use Q-tips. And yes, warm water would be all right. And some people get like a baby syringe and they squirt the water at the ear to kind of create a little pressure, but not too much. You don't put it in the ear. You hold it away from the ear and you syringe that warm water to the ears. But no Q-tips, because this can actually contribute to earwax blockage. You could be pushing that wax right into position and you're not getting it out. You're just shoving more, impacting it in there. Ear infections and ear damage. These are all things that could, that can be a problem with the ears. Earwax protects your ear canal by trapping dirt and bacteria. So we need a little bit of the earwax in there to do that. Okay, so it can trap trap bacteria and dirt. To avoid irritation, or damaging the inside of the ear, you don't want to stick anything inside the ear canal. This can actually make tinnitus treatment more difficult. If you have excessive earwax, talk to a doctor about safely removing it so so the earwax doesn't accumulate and become too hard to wash itself out naturally. And and they're overly using prescriptions, drugs, or alcohol. Research shows that some medications and drugs, even over-the-counter painkillers, can make tinnitus worse. Using recreational drugs, especially when pregnant, which can damage a fetus's nerves, or if there's or if they're smoking and drinking too much, using too much alcohol, are also tied to tinnitus. People are getting tinnitus from this, and you want to talk to your doctor about changing your medication, lowering your dose, or finding another way to manage conditions that you might have. Medications, if you're experiencing tinnitus, it may be your medications. Medications that can contribute to ear damage and cause tinnitus, including antibiotics, polymyxin, that's polymyxin B, and erythromycin, and vancomycin. All these mycin drugs, polymyxin B, erythromycin, vancomycin, and neomycin, all these antibiotics can be a cause of tinnitus. Cancer medications, meclochlorothymine, and vincristine, and diuretics, bumetanide, ethanoquinic acid, or furosemide, quinine medications, and some antidepressants, and aspirin, when taken in high doses, usually 12 or more a day, can cause or exacerbate tinnitus. You want to reduce inflammation and chronic stress. Inflammation and chronic stress levels of inflammation and high levels of inflammation both seem to raise the risk for ear problems, including ear infections, hearing loss, and vertigo. On top of that, stress can make tinnitus symptoms worse by changing how your brain reacts to noises it hears. Research regarding using cognitive behavioral therapy for tinnitus shows that tolerance to tinnitus can be facilitated by reducing levels of autonomic nervous system arousal, changing the emotional meaning of tinnitus, and reducing other stresses. It's been found that there's some overlap in anxiety and tinnitus due to an association between subcortical brain networks involved in hearing sounds, attention, distress, and memory functions. A poor diet, sedentary lifestyle, lack of sleep, and chronic stress are all capable of reducing immunity and making you susceptible to nerve damage, allergies, ear problems. And if you frequently experience seasonal or food allergies that affect your ears, ear infections, swelling, or other problems related to damage of the vestibular system, consider changing your diet, your exercise routine, and ways of dealing with stress, which in turn will aid your tinnitus treatment. Try natural stress relievers like exercising, prayer, yoga, meditation, taking warm baths, using essential oils, and spending more time outdoors, and eat an anti-inflammatory diet. Lots of turmeric, curcumin. Tinnitus symptoms. The most common signs and symptoms of tinnitus include hearing phantom sounds when no sound is actually coming from any outside source. Sounds can include ringing, clicking, sizzling, buzzing, hissing, humming, and roaring. Tinnitus sounds are commonly described by patients as being like the sounds of escaping air, heartbeat, breathing, or the inside swirling of a seashell. Many people report that the sounds change in terms of which ear they come from, their intensity, their pitch, the onset, the volume, and the type. They change in terms of which ear it's coming from. Sounds can stop and go, sometimes be soft and slow, or other times become louder and faster. Tinnitus sounds might only come from one ear at a time, unilateral, or both ears bilateral. And we already said all this. So we're going to move through this because we got other things we got to address. Tinnitus is classified in several ways depending on the symptoms it causes. Subjective tinnitus sounds are only able to be heard from the patient themselves. The term for sounds that are heard inside the ears is tinnitus aurium, while the term for sounds heard outside the ear is tinnitus cerebri. Objective tinnitus. Amazingly, when a patient has objective tinnitus and a doctor uses a stethoscope near the affected ear, the doctor can also pick up the sounds.
Subjective tinnitus, if I could jump in here for just a second.
No, it's objective.
Objective tinnitus is often caused by microwave pollution, radio wave excitation, and that's why the doctor can hear it. It's an actual mechanical. So it's interesting that they covered that.
Yes, well, that's why I always get these thorough reports that cover things that other people don't cover. And the tinnitus risk factors and causes. Well, experts believe that tinnitus is associated with neural brain and nerves and injuries that affect the auditory pathway, and therefore someone's ability to hear sounds. And most of the time, tinnitus is a result of a disorder that affects parts of either the outer, inner, or middle ear. The good news is that the majority of cases are not linked to any serious illness, although some cases are. It's been observed in people with tinnitus that they experience abnormal and random firings of sensory and auditory neurons that people without tinnitus don't experience. Some risk factors believed to be tied to tinnitus include a history of ear disorders or ear infections. Again, cardiovascular heart disease disorders that affect blood flow, arteries, and nerves. If there's nerve damage, older age and the older you get, the more possibility you're going to have tinnitus. Being a male, most males have more tinnitus than females. And if you're smoking, it can predispose you to tinnitus. If you're experiencing TMJ symptoms, the jaw, the head, or neck injuries, that can cause it. Overcoming an upper respiratory infection, a cold, or an ear infection can bring on tinnitus. A history of drug use or excessive alcohol consumption, which can cause neurological changes, can bring on tinnitus. having acute anxiety, insomnia, or depression, of being exposed to high amounts of noise pollution. This might include having a job that exposes you to high pitched noises, or even wearing very loud headphones frequently. Hearing loss that is tied to aging is called presbycusis. There are many channels leading to the ears, which can cause someone to hear abnormal ringing or other sounds in their ears. These conditions usually cause their symptoms at the same time, such as dizziness, hearing loss, headaches, facial paralysis, nausea, loss of balance, which doctors use as clues to they use it as clues to uncover the underlying cause of tinnitus. Some specific conditions that are known to cause symptoms of tinnitus include the ear canal obstructions, ossicle dislocation within the ear that affects hearing, or recurring ear infections like swimmer's ear, either in the outside or inside of the ear canal, otis media or otis externa. Other ear disorders tied to tinnitus include osteosclerosis. Excuse me, I'll say it again. Autosclerosis, OTO, sclerosis, causes changes to the bones inside the ears. Tympanic membrane perforation, or labyrinthitis. That's a chronic infection or viruses that attack tissues in the ears. And the inner ear damage is the most common type of ear disorder that causes tinnitus. This changes the way tiny hairs inside the ears move in relation to the pressure of sound waves, causing false electrical signals to be sent through the auditory nerves to your brain. There's cranial nerve tumors that affect parts of the brain connected to sound and hearing, which is acoustic neuroma. Then there's anemia. This also causes weakness, changes in heartbeat and pulse and fatigue. Arterial sclerosis, or hypertension, high blood pressure, hardening of the arteries, or high blood pressure cuts off normal blood flow that affects nerve signals leading to the ears. There is cervical spondylosis, a degenerative disorder that compresses arteries leading to the neck and ears. Sinus infections, labyrinth, I'm going to say this, labyrinthitis, inflammation in the inner ear, usually after an buildup of stress and physical fatigue, eardrum rupture, Bell's palsy, temporomandibular joint arthralgia, TMJ, can cause tinnitus. Impairment can cause tinnitus. Significant weight loss from malnutrition can cause tinnitus. Long-term holding of the head in a hyperextended position can cause tinnitus. Problems with the nerves, such as multiple sclerosis or with migraine headaches, if there's thyroid problems, hormonal changes in a woman, heart or blood vessel diseases, including high blood pressure and preeclampsia, Meniere's disease, a rare and serious inner ear disorder that develops after fluid accumulates in the ear abnormally, causing pressure levels to change within the ear to cause tinnitus. The eustachian tube patency. This is one of the one of the passages that opens and closes in the throat, the eustachian tube. It's usually closed except when someone swallows. But when it becomes damaged, it can remain open, which leads to abnormal sound sensations of the breath. Overdosing on certain prescription drugs, recreational drugs, or alcohol. This can sometimes cause permanent damage to nerves that affect hearing. In some cases, when pregnant women use drugs during pregnancy, this can cause tinnitus to develop in her child. Common drugs that might contribute to tinnitus include ototoxics, psychotropic drugs, aminoglycosides, certain antibiotics, vancomycin. If you suspect you might have tinnitus, here is what you can expect during a doctor's visit. Your doctor will discuss your medical history, including any history of anxiety, neurological disorders, or ear disorders. They'll talk about the next. The doctor will likely perform a physical exam of your ears to examine tympanic membrane, which is tied to noise perception. It's also possible he or she will check your neck, genitals, major arteries, blood pressure, and breathing to check for signs of nerve damage or impaired blood flow. The doctor will ask questions about sounds you're hearing. You will be asked to describe the pitch, location, frequency, intensity, and types of sounds you experience. Your doctor will also check for other symptoms: headaches, hearing loss, or those associated with anxiety and vertigo. Likely, you'll be asked about your history and contribute to changes in sense perceptions. Okay. 10 to 15% of the people experience some degree of tinnitus. 12 to 30, 12 to 36% of children with mostly normal hearing experience tinnitus, and up to 66% will experience tinnitus. Adults over 60 commonly suffer from age-related hearing loss, which can also trigger tinnitus symptoms. The number one cause of tinnitus is inner ear damage. Studies have found that 35% of tinnitus patients experience near constant symptoms, but the majority hear sounds that come and go. Not every person with tinnitus finds symptoms intrusive or debilitating. Some people get along with it okay. They just kind of ignore it. are able to do 2% to 10%. Under half report that it has an effect on their quality of life. In other words, under half of the people that have tinnitus report, under half of them report has any effect on the quality of life. The other half ignore it. About 4 to 10% rate their tinnitus as very annoying and disturbing. Only 4 to 10% rate their tinnitus as very annoying or disturbing. 35% say they find symptoms less stressful after time has gone by. They're coping with it. And about 45% of the people with tinnitus experience anxiety disorders during their lifetimes. Approximately 15% of Americans between ages of 20 to 6 experience to tinnitus due to exposure to very loud noises. The National Study of Hearing of age and even decreases. So that's it. I think we really precautions with tinnitus treatment. Tinnitus can sometimes be triggered temporarily from acute illnesses like fever, cold, or infection. If symptoms last more than 1 week after you've recovered, see a doctor to make sure another condition isn't to blame that occurs suddenly or without any apparent cause. Also check with your doctor. This is especially important if you have hearing. Because tinnitus is linked to sometimes serious depression or anxiety, it's recommended to always speak with a counselor if you're struggling to manage tough feelings associated with tinnitus. And you're, if you're trying to do it on your own, it may be necessary to get some counseling. Final thoughts on tinnitus treatment. Tinnitus is the term for unexplained ringing in your ears or hearing other noises that other people cannot hear. Tinnitus is most likely to affect older people, men more often than women, those with past ear damage, or anyone with hearing loss. Symptoms of tinnitus include ringing of the ears, buzzing, humming, other noises, sensations, along with anxiety and sometimes headaches and dizziness. Natural tinnitus options include using sound machines, hearing devices, or aids preventing preventing ear infections, reducing noise pollution, exposure, and cognitive behavioral therapy. That's it. Except let's look at the ear formulation that the Most High had me invent. And when we go to the website, herbalhealthreview.com, well, we're going to go to the other website. Let's go to betterhealthherbs.com. Betterhealthherbs.com. When we're on betterhealthherbs.com, we are going to type in EAR. And I get nothing from the sale of any product, but this is an ear formula. There is I'm All Ears is the name of an ear oil. And this ear oil, I'm clicking on it. This ear oil, there we go. I'm All Ears has black cohosh root, blue cohosh root, blue vervain, skullcap leaf, lobelia leaf, and structured water, which means it's alkaline, and only 20% alcohol, but it's also made with vegetable glycerin or no alcohol. So you can either choose alcohol or no alcohol. And for something that I put in my ear, I'm going to choose the no alcohol. I'm going to choose the vegetable glycerin to put in my ear. The previous name for that formula was HRING. HRING, hearing, because what it does is it helps the nerves in the ear to heal, and it helps to bring back hearing and hearing loss. That's what that formulation does. It helps to correct nerve damage in the ears. So that's a nice formula to know about. And there's one other thing you want to use besides that, an ear formula for the ears. Let's go to EAR. Maybe EAR. All right, so let's try ears. Let's go down. Ear oil. Here's the other thing. So I had one for helping to restore the nerves in the ear. This is the other formula, number 6924, and it has olive oil, mullein oil, garlic oil, and lobelia oil, and that is for an earache or an ear infection. That's exactly what it treats, is ear inflammation and ear infections. So that or those are two ear remedies that I was led to create many years ago. The ear oil, number 69.4. Under the tap, if the oil is cold, and put 1, 2, or 3 drops into the ear. Then put the other ear formula, the one for all ears, number 1219. Put that into the ears. You put that into the ears second. So first thing is you're getting rid of any inflammation in the ear. Second one is to help to restore the nerves in the ear. And those are a couple of natural ear formulas for comforting ear infection and nerve problems in the ear. Okay. And again, we're not promising any cures. We're just telling you about a couple of products that are used by naturopathic doctors for the ears. So that's it. That's the ears. And go ahead, Edward. Go ahead. Oh, I don't see. I see it's still there. Let me see if I can.
Edward, you're going to
I
have to
forgot to
unmute.
unmute.
There you go.
I just unmuted. I wanted to let people know some good news is I actually listened to that sound. It sounds like bells or crickets or angels singing in heaven within. There's a faint sound inside of us that's been there all our lives. And it is our being that is vibrating, and we can actually hear it. So if it's just a little bit, a tiny bit of ringing, like when you're sitting in a brand new car all by yourself and it sounds wow, you can hear the ringing then. Or when you're laying in your pillow to go to sleep at night and you start to hear it, it actually quiets your mind and puts you to sleep. So, but everything you explained about how this severe problem happens sounds like it happens from inflammation, high blood pressure, etc., and all the wrong things in our body can make it to where it's too loud and too annoying and all that. So getting down, as you said, some of the detoxification, etc., and is very helpful. One time, for a year and change, I had been sticking a key in my ear and scratched it each time I did that, because you don't stick keys in your ear if you're going to stick anything in it. It should be a very blunt object. Well, I scratched the inside. And since that wax is toxins also, which keeps it clean, it went and infected my ear. It was 3 times the size of normal. And one day when I went to Oklahoma, I talked to my granddaughter, my daughter-in-law, Rachel, and I had an infection in my ear. I did it again, unconsciously, just stuck a key in my ear. So, and this is a lot of years ago, but she said to me, why don't you put the drops in for the clay like we do for the children? And I said, you mean I could put those clay drops in my ear? You know that? And she said, yeah, we do it all the time. Well, I did. And I've never had infections. It cleared up in a day and a half. That's it for an infection. It cleared right up. I've never had a problem. A diluted mixture to drink 9 to 1. If you hear a little ringing in your ears, that's not necessarily something that is unpleasurable. It actually quiets your mind. You should hear it every night when you lay in your pillow. You should always hear something that soothes you inside of you.
There you go. So, so one of the things that it talked about there was a big problem, was the anxiety and the stress. So, and also some nerve. And we want to take a look at PTSD. What are the natural remedies that that can be used for that? And so we go down to the website, herbalhealthreview.com. We click on common conditions. We go down to the anxiety, depression, PTSD research report. We click on it. And it's a little slow to come up for some reason. I don't know why it's doing that. That's really weird, but it's really slow. Okay, here we go. And now we're on our way.
The
All right.
internet.
And we're looking at anxiety. And we're looking at anxiety and depression and the research report that I put together that I have done lots of changes to over the years. But let's cut right to it. What to do? Number one, make sure your diet is correct, because if you're eating fast food and you're trying to heal your body, that's not going to work. You're not going to heal your body on fast food. You're going to heal your body on nourishing food that is going to nourish and feed your body. So we got to look at the things that are going to do that. Number one, if there's depression, we want to look at a depression herbal formulation. So we go to that report, we click on the depression herbs that help strengthen the nervous system, and especially against depression. So let's open that link in a new tab, and I'm looking for the new tab wherever it was, and there it goes.
Truman, you really have to close some tabs. You really,
I really do. Well,
you've got hundreds
I should.
of there.
I usually do. I have hundreds of tabs open, but
You're having horrible bandwidth with this show, and a lot of it is on your end.
Oh, that's
so your bandwidth is really low, and I'm doing the best I can turning off.
all right. Why don't I? Let me let's
close that
just
window.
go ahead and
Don't close
close
that
out.
window. No. Okay. Jitsi.
Okay.
Okay.
So now the
Breathe.
Jitsi went.
I have a
What's that?
suggestion. I have a suggestion that you save it under favorites, the whole thing under today's date, and then you can close as many windows as you want. And you got them all saved under your favorites under today's date. Click on it and save all of them. All those tabs under favorites under today's date. Make a new file.
We're still in Jitsi. I've still got Jitsi up, and and what we're doing here is we are uh, going over and and going over to this report on on on
Anxiety and PTSD.
anxiety, depression, and yes. And when we open that report, it's bringing up the information about it, and it's talking about a depression that helps rebuild the nervous system. In that link in a new tab, and I'm looking at that depression formulation, number 1144, and it's telling us that the name of that is mood care. And this mood care herbal formula that rebuilds the nerves has herbs in it like St. John's wort, which is a specific herb for depression. It helps comfort depression. Cola, ginkgo, and lobelia in that nerve soothing, nerve building formulation number 1144. But that's where we need to go when there's tinnitus. We need to know about the herbs that help to strengthen the nervous system. We need to know about an anti-anxiety herbal formulation number 1027. That herbal formula, we can open that link in the new tab and be looking at that 44, maybe one over. And it's called Calm. And the formula is 1027. That's going to calm down our skullcap, passion flower, valerian root, mistletoe leaf, hops flower, sarsaparilla root, kava kava root, catnip leaf, cramp bark, ginger root, red clover blossoms, cayenne root, and lobelia leaf, and some St. John's wort, and borage leaf, and gotu kola, and some wild lettuce, which relieves pain. And it has motherwort for the heart, and American ginseng as a total tonic to the nervous system. So that is an absolutely wonderful formulation for depression and anxiety, number 1027. These are the kinds of herbs that help to build nerve health and help with when there are nerve disorders. So, and there are a lot of them there in the anxiety, depression report. There's lots of things that we can do. B complex is central to the nervous system. Anyone who wants to have a strong nervous system, make sure you're taking a B complex with that it has a slow release so that it's giving you B complex constantly throughout the day. Then take 3 times a day, and each amount of B complex will be in like 100 milligrams or 100 micrograms. It's going to be a big dose of B complex, and you're going to have them all of the B vitamins together. That really feeds the nervous system. Make sure you know about B12 and folic acid drops, which just wakes up the brain and helps you focus, and helps when there is any kind of nerve problems. There are herbs like ginkgo and kava kava. There is an amino acid complex called GABA, GABA. It stands for gamma amino butyric acid, and it's used for anxiety and for stress and for brain function and for ADD, and it's also used for enlarged prostate. This GABA, but it helps with nervous tension, and it's a harmless amino acid. It's just simply a food that helps with anxiety, stress, brain function, ADD, and enlarged prostate. Then one of my favorite nerve and tension formulations. Once gave this to a lady who owned a store in Oregon. She had like 10 kids, and she had one little girl about 2 years old that was just hyper and constantly could not control her hyperactive the tension that this child was having. So she gave her I said, try this nervous tension formula. She gave her a squirt of that. The little girl came back about an hour later, said, "Mom, that really helped. Can you give me another squirt?" And then every day thereafter, whenever she was feeling anxious and so forth, she'd come and she'd tug on her mom's dress. "Hey, Mom, I need some of that number 324 nerves tension formula." She gave her a little squirt. She'd calm down. She was in control. She could have a good time, play with the other kids, and was no longer a child who had nerve problems. So that's about what we were trying to talk about when we're talking about nerve health. Let's visit with celiac disease, because we had a question about celiac disease. So let's go over to celiac disease and see what we can find out about what we can do about celiac disease. Okay. And we're clicking on that to get some information. And a natural treatment plan for celiac disease. Let's visit that. That's a very interesting research done here. It's going to talk about celiac disease symptoms. We're going to talk about celiac disease, how it affects the digestive system. Disease affects the central nervous system. Celiac disease is different than gluten sensitivity. Well, it is a bit different. The celiac disease, there's a natural treatment plan for it. Let's get started on it, because we've only got a few minutes left here. According to the Celiac Disease Foundation, around 1 in 100 people worldwide have celiac disease. And in the US alone, 2.5 million people are currently undiagnosed and at risk for long-term health complications. Celiac disease was first described over 8,000 years ago by a Greek physician who had no idea that this disorder was a type of autoimmune reaction to gluten.
No, I hit the wrong buttons, that's all.
Okay. And it seems like I've got an open mic there somewhere. David and Charissa, did you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Dr. Burst, I know you guys are really, really busy there, and I apologize for this, but I'm looking for a couple of items that I have not received yet. I did try to get a hold of Brittany a few times, but she hasn't back with me. Could you check into that for me, please?
I will, and I have been forwarding your requests for information. They did just receive funding, so now they're in the process of, of, of increasing the inventory. They've got more help now. So, but poor Brittany was all alone there and
Yeah,
not
I
able to
understand.
keep up with things. But now that has changed. So yes, I will get back to Brittany again and ask her to call you about your order. Okay.
Okay, I really appreciate that because it was in the past, so they might have to dig a little bit right now. But are you done? Because I do have another I have a question as well.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead. We could talk about celiac disease for quite some time. And the person who asked about celiac disease, I'm glad to send you the full report on celiac disease. Call me on the telephone 503-362-5899. Text me is better because then I can work faster and just get to it. Text me that you'd like a report on anything, including celiac disease. I'll make sure you get it. So what is your other question, please?
Okay, the other question was, can a person get too much vitamin D3?
D3? Well,
Yeah.
yes, but it would have to be a very high level for a long period of time because no one's ever taken too much vitamin D3 and come back and said that they did. even though for a short period of time, like 15 days, for 15 days, taking a high dose, which I consider a high dose, not too high of a dose, but a good, powerful dose of vitamin D3 is done by people who know how, but by people who understand vitamin D3. What they do, and Dr. Miles, when he was with us, what he did was he would give people 50,000 IUs of vitamin D3 every October, because at the beginning of October is flu season. The sun goes away. You're not getting any vitamin D anymore. It's gone. You missed your chance. If you didn't get enough sunshine during the summer, then you definitely need it in October. So that's where, at the beginning of October, 50,000 IUs of vitamin D3 for 15 days, and on the 16th day, stop taking 50,000 and take only 10,000 for about 6 months. Then you come into spring and you do it again. See, these are the two times that your immune system gets compromised: when the season changes and goes from summer into winter, into fall in October. When that seasonal change comes along, your body is trying to adjust, and unless you've been really nice to your body, a lot of people's bodies don't make the adjustment. They come down with the flu. They come down. They sinus problems. That's when they really start getting sick. Is when it's in October or in the beginning of spring. You boost up your vitamin D for 15 days, 50,000. I use one time a day for 15 days. On the 16th day, drop to 10,000. I use a vitamin D3, and you're doing it twice a year. And that's how to do that. And it's safe at that level. Now, if you're going to take it up to 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, that may not be safe, and I wouldn't do that. But just for a booster with only 50,000, I've been doing it for years. Dr. Miles did it for many years with his patients. So I know that it works. I know that it increases the immune system, and it's never harmed anybody. No one's ever come back to me and said, "Oh, I have too much. My vitamin D level is too high." Never heard of that before. But but at the same time, I'm always listening, because one of these days I might hear of somebody who's very, very sensitive to vitamin D3, and they're going to say that, that was a lot for them.
You might have met somebody already.
Might have. Well, there you go.
Two people you might have met.
That did vitamin D. What was the reaction?
Well, the doctors said that they expected to be between 30 and 100. It should be between 30 and 100. That's the numbers. And that individual had 126.
And what problem did that he say that would cause?
Well, I don't remember if he. Well, actually, the vitamin D and the calcium might be causing a problem. Plus, he said it was too high. So, and then he said, get off of it for 2 weeks, for just a couple of weeks, and then I guess go back on. But it's been 50,000 all year, just about.
50,000 all year? Well, see, that's overdoing it, because you only want to do it for 15 days.
Yeah. Well, we did. Then one time he said do it every 10 days, and then another one once a week. So it's not every day, but it's just a once a week type of thing.
Okay. So, well, I've never run into anybody who ever had a problem of doing 50,000 for 15 days and then stopped.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we talking about wintertime? I'm
talking about the best time to start it would be in October, to do it 50,000 for 15 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then quit. Don't like 50,000, and then just take 10,000 thereon. And that's a modest dose that keeps a high level of D3 in the body. And maybe what your doctor didn't tell you is that 90% of everyone is deficient in vitamin D. Mm-hmm. He's not running into people with too high of vitamin D levels, even if they took 50,000 for 15 days. Mm-hmm. He's not running into a problem with that.
So the 2,000 is for how many days?
Every day thereafter.
That's
right.
That's until what? Until the next year?
For 6 months.
For 6 months.
So in October, mm-hmm. you're doing 50,000 at the beginning of October.
Okay.
By October 15th, you're done. You're now just on the 16th day of October. You're only taking 10,000, and you're taking 10,000 all year for 6 months, just 10,000 one time a day. Mm-hmm. And then in the spring, when everybody's getting their seasonal allergies again, you do what you do 50,000 for 15 days at the beginning of spring, and then after 15 days, 10,000 only. Stay on 10,000 every day.
Okay, so if that person's been told that they had too much, that would probably be. I'm probably on the 16th day now. Then, right?
Could be, but the thing about it is, it'll clear up. That's not if you're at 126 now. Within when you go back to if you found that you were over, then yes, you could quit. And then once quit for 10 days, then just take 10,000 thereafter, so that you maintain a 10,000 level. If you've overdosed yourself, which looked like somebody was up a little bit there, but it would have cleared up anyway. And we've never heard of anybody dying of D3.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Tell Brittany hi when you talk to her, please.
I will.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, and hey, we've come to the top of the hour here already. My goodness, time flies when you're getting great information out to people. That being said,
if you lay out naked, you can avoid the vitamin D3, because you got to be in the sun like 4 or 5 hours a day, totally your whole body almost. Okay. Otherwise, I supplement with vitamin D3.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I better do that, but we have no privacy here. Thanks for the suggestion, though.
Okay, all right. So let's close with a closing prayer here. All praises to the Most High in Jesus Christ's name, Yashaya, and Titus. Titus, was a servant of God, and and he talked about he talked about things like the qualification of leaders. He talked about Paul's son in faith, Paul, as he says in Titus 1, 1:1, Paul, a servant of God, an apostle of Jesus Christ, according to the faith of God's elect, and the acknowledgement of the truth is godliness, in hope of eternal life, which God, that cannot lie, promised before the world began, but hath in due times manifested his word through preaching, which is committed unto me according to the commandment of God, our Savior. To Titus, mine own son, after the common faith, grace, mercy, and peace from God and Father and the Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior. All praises to the Most High. In Jesus Christ's name, so be it. Thank you, everyone. We're going to open up all the microphones, and anyone there in the room there, please open up your microphones. And we're over here, open up the microphones, organizer control, and unmuting the microphones. There we go.
All praises to the Most High. Hallelujah. Thank you.
All praises to the Most
Thank
High.
you very much. Thank you.
All praises.
Thank you, Dr. Truman Tawada. Praise the Most High.
Shalom.
Praises to the Most High.
Shalom.
All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters. Bless you. Bless your families.
Bless you. Thank you, Dr. Truman.
Bye-bye.
This program is presented for information purposes only. The statements made herein have not been evaluated by any agency and should not be considered professional, legal, or medical advice. Viewers are directed to consult their own professional sources before acting on any information presented here.